Hey guys, this video is about an alternative way to keep your dog from lunging or being reactive towards other dogs when you're on the walk. Now, the typical thing that most of us do, myself included, especially in the early days of my career and still to this day sometimes, but what we'll typically do when our dog begins to be reactive, when they see another dog coming, is we just do a little pop with a leash, right? Usually on top of that, there's some anxiety of our own, that we kind of layer into it, and so many times it doesn't even do anything, but we continue to choose that strategy over and over again. Sometimes what it'll do is it'll actually drive the dog deeper into the behavior, which is exactly what we don't want. But what happens is the dog becomes so accustomed to being corrected constantly with a leash that it becomes slightly numb to it, and he will even associate that correction with going into a reactive state. And so it's the exact opposite. We're getting the exact opposite outcome that we want. So here's something for you to try, because I'd be willing to bet that 80% or 85% of everybody that comes to me as a client has dog reactivity issues. So let's try something else, because that's the best way to come up with the perfect strategy. Now, this is going to require a little more work than just a simple pop of the leash or a leash correction. You're actually going to have to work on your relationship with your dog some. Now, what I'm referring to is making your side where the dog walks on. So if your dog walks on your left, let's say, that you make sure that he associates your side or being next to you as being in a peaceful place where he is protected and advocated for at all times. Easier said than done, I know. But what you want to do is you want to actually teach the dog how to create a contrastive feeling. So what it requires is for you to go out and do your due diligence without distractions initially, but actually have your dog on a leash, preferably a long line. Let your dog go out to something that slightly distracts him or maybe sets him off, but not to a super, super high level. Let him go out. When he goes out and he starts to, either his hackles go up or he shows some signs of reactivity or overexcitement or over-adrenalized or whatever, you call him back to you and you put him next to your side. And you can call it here, you can call it heel, you can call it whatever you want as long as you use the same terminology, the same verbal cue each time. And you continue to do that. Now, in some cases, you're going to be able to let the dog go quite a ways out towards whatever it is that sets him off. Other times, he's only going to be able to get a couple of feet in front of you before he starts to set off. That's completely up to you to determine when you want to ask him to come back in. If he doesn't come back in on his own, then obviously you've got him on a leash, so you can pretty much reel him in and put him by your side. Now, what you're going to want to do is to continue to do this exercise over and over again until the dog begins to see that when I'm out in front of my owner and I'm kind of on my own and I see this thing that sets me off, that doesn't feel good. That's not a good feeling, because I'm over-adrenalized, I'm uncomfortable, there's no one advocating for me because I've left my owner behind and now I'm out in front. They'll begin to realize that when they feel that way, that it's far better for them to come back and be by your side. Again, this is not something you're going to be able to accomplish in one session, overnight, or even over a matter of several days. It's something that you're going to have to do consistently. And after all, when you're teaching your dog to feel safe and comfortable when they're by your side, that's going to go a long way towards helping your overall relationship with your dog, and you're going to be able to apply that over and over again. For example, doing recall. Teach your dog that it's better to be by your side than out away from you. So your dog is on the beach. Some other dog comes running towards him that you don't want him to be with. You recall him back into your side. If the dog feels safe next to you, you're going to have a much better likelihood that he will actually recall to you. So again, I am never of the school of thought that there's one size that fits all with dog training. There are times, especially when I'm out with my pack, I don't have the luxury of being able to work individually with a dog that might get more reactive than others if they see a squirrel or a wild turkey or whatever is out here. So my only option at that time is typically to either give a little pop with a leash or to slightly turn in towards that one dog, or I'll do whatever I need to do in that moment because I don't have a lot of options. And sometimes that does the trick. I would say in the vast majority of times it will actually do the trick. It'll interrupt the brain. You can call the dog back into a more peaceful state where he feels calmer. But over and over again, I'm seeing clients and students that are just having a really horrible time, and in some cases they'll even say to me, I think this is making him worse. Well, it probably is. And so when that happens, then we have to stop and think, all right, it's not a one-size-fits-all. There's no cookie-cutter approach that is going to ever make you successful as a dog handler, as a dog owner, as a dog trainer. So you have to stop, regroup, and think, what else can I do? This is something that I find very effective with my own dogs, is always teaching them that by my side is always better than going out on their own. I can advocate for them better when they're right here. So something for you to look at, that if you just set aside a little bit of time throughout the day to work on this, then gradually over the next 2-3 weeks, you're going to see a difference in your dog. I'd be willing to bet you. Okay? I hope you guys have a great, wonderful rest of the day. And I'm all excited because I'm getting ready to do my next Learn to Lead tomorrow, sold out class. We're very excited about it. And some of my students are already here. So anyway, have a great day. Love you guys. See you. Bye.